This is Aubrey. She's a mother of one and 3 months postpartum. I like adjusting postpartum because typically with your hips, like after you give birth, like while you give birth, like your hips move 10 centimeters, which is like
just during the birthing process.
2.5 inches is how much it displaces, right?
Dang.
So a lot of times it doesn't go back correctly. You can have like back pain, like SI joint pain, stuff like that. So I always recommend like getting adjusted like anytime after birth, but usually within the first like couple weeks.
How soon after giving birth would you be adjusted? Immediately?
I've had a mom come in like 2 days after. Same with like babies. I've had babies come in like, you know, they were 2 days old and got adjusted because birthing is traumatic. And we have here Wade. This is Aubrey's son, and he is 3 months old. 3 months, huh? Yeah. Today. Okay, so usually 3-month-olds, what we like to look for is like how well they're moving their head. Uh-oh, there goes the pinky. Because they're holding their neck up and they get like a lot of pressure like here. So what I'll do is I usually will rotate them and have them try and look at mommy. Look at mommy. Look at mommy. So you see how he always naturally, he wants to look to the right. So that usually tells me that there's something going on this left side. So with babies, there's not any like cracks or anything like that. It's mostly me just holding them and looking at them and saying, hey you, can you look to your right? You know, he was looking to the right. Let's look to the left. Yeah, there you go. There we go. And then we just kind of twist them a little bit, make sure their low back's moving good. They're usually not engaging their like muscles or their spine and their low back at this age. Once they start crawling, they'll start engaging like their upper back, their low back. We just twist them and see how good they're doing. You're doing so good, huh? So good. So when you put him in the crib, right, if you put him in like this way, he'll always be looking to one side, so like head this way. So you want to alternate which way he puts his head. And that helps kind of like alternate like what they see and like where they're looking at. So yeah, with babies, there's no pops. It's just like very light pressure. Like I'll just push a little area and then I'll just encourage his head to turn that way. He's fighting me a little bit. I know, there's that little thing right there. You were doing so good. So good. Okay. You like looking this way? Ta-da. And then let's look this way. I know mommy's over there, huh? Oh, good. That's so good. Hey you. Oh, wow. Good job. And that's it, we're all done. This is Emmett. He's an energetic 1.5-year-old, almost 1.5. He's getting ready to walk. So usually when I assess a kid, I just play with them and I watch them crawl, watch them move, kind of see what they do, watch their movement patterns. You see how like when he puts his one leg forward and he leaves his other leg back, that's usually like a sign that there's something in his hips that isn't moving the way that it should. So that's another thing to look for, is if the baby is crawling kind of like one side at the same time, or it doesn't look all that, you know, normal, then that is a good sign to do an adjustment. Some people are really nervous to come to the chiropractor, especially after giving birth. The one thing that you should know is when you give birth, your hips move 10 centimeters, right? Like that's the dilation that they go for. 10 centimeters is about 2.5 inches. Your SI joints actually displace, like your pubic symphysis displaces, and it takes a few weeks for that to come back and to heal itself. That's why a lot of times moms are sore in the hips, even weeks, sometimes even months after birth. Coming to a chiropractor can really help get that aligned, get it moving properly. So chiropractors, we don't just pop things, we don't just crack things, but we actually work on proper movement, we work on function, and we work a lot with pain, right? And a lot of the reasons why you're in pain is because of improper function, improper movement. So we try to get that feeling a lot better. So with babies, a lot of people are real nervous to bring a baby in, but it's super safe. We're not cracking them, we're not popping them, we're just encouraging movement. I like to encourage movement through play, so I'll just bring up like little toys and try to get them to move their head the way that we want them to. And if I see restrictions, then we'll gently encourage the neck to move how it should. With hips, like you can see in the video here, like with Emmett, he had a hard time bringing his hip forward. And the reason being is, I mean, things just get stuck, right? So like I said, we like to encourage the functionality of it. We like to move that hip. It was a good idea to bring him in. So typically what I recommend is during those transition phases of development, right? So when your kid's holding his head up, when he's starting to crawl, when he's starting to walk and stand, those are times when the spine is developing. And if we want it to develop correctly, we want to come in, make sure that the function is there and working, so that way we can develop and move correctly, okay? It's gonna be so much better in the long run to come to the chiropractor. Usually for babies, I recommend within 2 weeks, okay, of birth. And then after that, once they start holding their head up, come in, and then once they start crawling, come in. Typically, it's about every 3 months that they hit these milestones that you'd want them to come see a chiropractor and get checked out. For moms, usually, again, within the first 2 weeks, unless you have a C-section. If you do happen to have a C-section, we want to wait for about 6 weeks, and that's just for everything to heal up correctly. But again, the same reason, like you have a lot of what's called relaxin in your body. And what that does is it relaxes the ligaments and it makes you more prone to injuries. And even if you have a C-section, that's still in your body. So we want to come make sure everything is functioning correctly. We'd love to see you here. Give us a like and a follow if you liked the video, and please subscribe, and we've got more coming soon.